Applications built on data. Apps, the new buzzword. What is the most popular app in your city, in your company, in your enterprise? It is amazing that at this moment 2.6 million apps are available around the world. 100 movies are produced every week, 250 books, and 15,000 new apps every week. There must be something good in it that you can deploy. But the point I tried to make, 138,000 apps, 138 billion, apps have been downloaded now, today, and it's increasing. I want to give you one example of an app that is a revolution as we speak, Uber. I think most of you have used the Uber services somewhere in the world as an alternative at the moment for taxi services. But I see it more as a supplement. It's a new business model, but this is an element of scaling. A company with around 1,000 people, hardly any assets in a virtual world, have been able to scale it to more than 83 cities already in 12 months. The market cap of this company, the estimation is close to 20 billion. Imagine that you would have this in your city. What can it generate? What's the wealth it can create? But also think about the future of work. And this is one of the best examples where we talk about a sharing economy and where people are going to share assets in new business models unleashed via an application-centric infrastructure if you have built it. This will be the foray of new innovation, new services. Think about it as a shared economy. Still, 13 billion devices connected is only 1% of what can be connected. And so the potential is unthinkable. I never looked more forward than 5 years. But what this can cause and what type of new services this will create is the creativity and the innovation of your people, your folks, your enterprise, your city. It will, and that is our estimation, have an economic value in the next decade of 19 trillion. I'm not making a mistake here. I had a radio interview and the reporter said, "Stop, Wim, are you really sure? Are you talking about 19 trillion? Yes. Almost the absolute GDP of the US. It's based on 61 real-world use cases, and I'm going to show you some. At the private sector, 14.4 trillion, the public sector, 4.6, and it's built up specifically in the brownfield world, the cities that already exist, the enterprise companies. It will create new revenue streams and innovation, new business models, a 3 trillion opportunity. On supply chain and efficiency, 2.7 trillion. In asset utilization, 2.5. And I always use asset utilization to think about energy management. 70% of energy is consumed in cities. 70% of that energy is consumed in buildings. Buildings have a utilization of 40%. That's a lot of waste and inefficiency. If we could double that, the asset utilization and improvements that we make, a sharing economy, sharing workplaces, virtual work, all these type of new drivers. Smart cities, and that was the theme for today, and that I've been asked to address, is a significant vertical in the Internet of Everything public sector. We see it as a $3 trillion opportunity. New urban services, 2 trillion of open data resulting in killer apps, like an Uber, like a lot of other things, and I'll show you. $18 billion economic value in traffic management, 41 billion in smart parking, often the second source of income for cities. An enormous irritation for citizens. 30% of congestion is people looking for a parking place. An average citizen in Paris is spending 4 years of his life finding it. Something to address, good for the audience and good for the governance to make some money on. Smart lighting, 22 billion. Video surveillance, 62 billion if you deploy it horizontally. And then last but not least, water leakage. 30% of water is lost somewhere with the leakage, and with sensors we can easily track that. So in the past, cities have addressed these issues in silos. Water management, electricity, traffic management. How can we create a governance model as a horizontal governance. And I would say minimal government, maximum governance. That's the objective. And how can you create, with a digitization officer, a data officers, that common infrastructure that we call an application-centric infrastructure, and how can you unleash the potential? You will probably think, but this is expensive, and how are we going to fund this? But save to invest. You spend, in cities, we spend money on infrastructure from water, electricity, gas. Perhaps take 10% out, make it a central pool, and concentrate on that digital application-centric infrastructure. Barcelona, at this moment, our key city, they adapted this since 1992, after they had the Olympic Games, and they had boroughs and neighborhoods, they called it number 21, where they started to experiment and developing a vision. And we are now with the technology so far that we can enable a lot of these ideas and really have smart workspaces, people collaborating between different disciplines. And we have a program for smart lighting, smart buses, smart water, smart bus stops, smart citizens. The benefits are enormous. So Antoni Vives is the vice mayor, the deputy vice mayor, and he has that super type of responsibility to oversee these horizontal needs and this horizontal infrastructure. And he can decide how to spend part of the budgets of the verticals in a more horizontal way. So they are obsessed with building quality of life for their citizens. Barcelona is known for its history, for its culture, for Gaudi. And they use technology as a key enabler. And the numbers are astonishing. That over the last decade, 1,500 new companies came to Barcelona. They liked it. They saw the sustainability and the opportunity to attract talent. They've created 55,000 new jobs. Mobile collaboration is a productivity improvement of 1.6 billion. Telework, smart parking, Here you see the numbers. And, you know, we're very proud that there is recognition for Mayor Xavier Trias, who has been listed as number 46 in the top 100 business people in the world. As a politician, he is giving prosperity to his citizens, is improving quality of life, and is also possible to attract business and to create harmony in the city. Hamburg, another example. And at Hamburg, in a Hanseatic city in the north of Germany, have a tremendous opportunity with the port. But they have small roads entering these ports. How can we double the throughput? That was the question. That was the output they wanted to realize by using technology smartly. And so they have a plan now to double the throughput in 10 years, to pervade really a quality of life, 75% OPEX savings, service investment reduced, and they're now going to tie it to the ports, to the hospitals. They're building a new neighborhood, the Haven City, and going to use that horizontal infrastructure to start with urban services. It is that application-centric infrastructure that they have built. And so very visionary, very innovative, and a great city council to work with. Another example, that how do you bring the town hall and how do you decentralize government services? Like I said, that's minimal government, maximal governance. How do you make it easy for your citizens to communicate with the town hall? And so we have this moment, decentralization with interaction, using technology. It's an increased reach. And shopping malls like it because it generates traffic. People are coming in. And we're deploying the decentralization of the town hall in Nice, in Barcelona, in Dubai, in Brisbane. More and more citizens are following us. And, you know, one of the real unique things, people use it in the way they want. So we had the first marriage in Nice, in what we call government pot. And then people liked it, but it's just to give you an opportunity and to think about what is possible. So the benefits. And the benefits are so compelling. of an application-centric infrastructure that generates urban services. It attracts jobs. It attracts FDI. And I gave you the example of Barcelona, but you can look at it for your own city. Energy savings of 30% are relatively easy to achieve. Water consumption can be reduced by 50% if you stop the leakages, if you have a more efficient way of distributing. Crime rates, if people are more happy, crime rates go down. It attracts young people. It can reduce traffic by 30%, but also, specifically in our aging societies, and you know the US, Europe, we're aging and shrinking. So how do you maintain cost of healthcare? We already know that in the US alone, we will need 2 million people in assisted living. There is a shortage of 300,000 nurses. And after the baby boomers retire, we will have a shortage of 1 million doctors. So how can we virtualize interactions in healthcare? 70% of healthcare calls don't need physical interaction. You can do a lot of preparation via technology, taking blood pressure. And then we're just starting the whole revolution now of healthcare devices and make it affordable. Price points will come down. And that you can do communication with your doctor via technology and then really use his time valuable for discussions to develop programs. Education, $3 per student per month. And the best, of course, are classrooms. But a lot of things can be done virtually. I have 2 boys of 15 and 18-year-olds, and they have only 2 statuses in life. They are asleep or they are online. And that's the future. That's how children already work. We, and me, I talk for myself here, we are oftenly prisoners of our own experiences. I think, of course, in books and newspapers. Probably it's going to be a mixture of both. Also, self-service in cities is going to be a big opportunity. And it's like you book your own tickets now and you do a lot yourself from a productivity point of view. And so if you decentralize citizen services, you have 24/7 type of operations where people can report light bulbs that doesn't work, potholes, what they see on the road, and you can respond. It's going to be self-service, and New York alone is spending $200 million a year on maintenance. So in closing, what will it take? But you're there as the experts, and you will talk about all these type of things. How can we unleash this potential? How can we get smart regulation to really take the opportunity to remove barriers, but at the same time take our responsibility for privacy, security, who owns the data? Be proactive. It shouldn't happen to you. You should determine your own future. Visionary leadership, having a vision for the next 5 to 10 years, what it will take. Work with companies and conglomerates who are pursuing global open standards, like cell phone telephony, a technology that works around the world. That is the direction that urban services will go. Public-private partnerships. You can't do this alone. Cisco can't do it alone. No company, no public sector can do this alone. What are the conglomerates that we have to set up? And that will lead to new ecosystems. In the end, it's about creativity, it's about innovation, and I'm looking forward to work with you, to get your feedback via the plenary sessions. I wish you a good day, and I hope that I've been able to give you some new thoughts for the future. Thank you very much.